Black advances the pawn on the king's side, trying to block attacking lines and add support to their position. However, this move subtly weakens their dark squares and leaves several key defensive pieces overloaded. With the cornered king, there may be tactical opportunities for white soon. Does this open the door to an immediate breakthrough? White strikes decisively with a knight, leaping forward to attack both the key bishop and relieve pressure on the center. This aggressive move forces the opponent to respond and disrupts their defensive coordination. It's a bold play that puts black on the back foot and sets up direct threats. Black responds by capturing white's knight with the bishop. While this seems logical for material balance, the maneuver opens more critical lines around the king's side and exposes the black king to imminent threats. Their remaining pieces are now stretched thin and vulnerable. White's bishop captures on the king's side, intensifying the attack against black's king. By eliminating a key defender, this move clears the way for powerful tactical ideas and multiplies the pressure on exposed squares. Excellent calculation to keep the initiative and further weaken the king's shelter. Black moves the king to the corner, seeking refuge and escaping the attacking diagonal. Unfortunately, this step leaves the king cut off behind its own pawn wall and makes it even more susceptible to direct blows along the open files. What's the best way to capitalize on this vulnerable position? White launches the bishop forward, targeting an open diagonal for a crushing discovered attack. Sliding the bishop into this aggressive square threatens multiple checkmating patterns and limits black's ability to defend. It's a brilliant move that perfectly coordinates with white's other pieces. Black is forced to recapture the bishop with their pawn, desperately hoping to stave off the assault. Yet, this only worsens their problems. The king remains trapped, and new weaknesses appear on the king's side, removing any hopes of consolidation. White finishes with a smooth capture on the king's side, using the queen to remove the final pawn shield. The tactic succeeds because black's king has no safe squares and all escape routes are cut off, a devastating demonstration of how piece activity and coordination combine for a beautiful finish. Rewatch to master attacking play. Black starts by repositioning their bishop toward the center, a defensive maneuver aiming to hold on to a slight material edge and limit your knight's activity. However, shifting the bishop leaves the dark squares on the queen side less defended, a subtle structural weakness. Can you find a way to capitalize on this change? You bring your knight to the heart of the board, attacking the exposed bishop and creating new threats against the king's defenders. Placing a piece in the center is a classic way to seize control, and now both the bishop and crucial dark squares are under pressure. This powerful move puts the opponent on the defensive and forces them to respond. Black tries to activate their rook by sliding it along the second rank, seeking counterplay and possibly aiming to harass your pawns from behind. This rook placement reveals their intent to invade, but also leaves their back rank open to tactical ideas. Are there ways to exploit the sudden loosening of their king's protection? You advance your pawn, challenging the black bishop and threatening to open the position further. This pawn push works because it limits the bishop's mobility and sets up dangerous attacking opportunities. It's a smart play that forces black into a difficult decision, tipping the balance of power. Black responds by pushing their own pawn, trying to disrupt your plans and inject some chaos into the position. This aggressive pawn move aims to create counter threats against your king, but it also further weakens their kingside structure. With precision, your rook swings to the third rank, shutting down the opponent's remaining counterplay. This final move demonstrates the power of active piece placement. Your threats are unstoppable, and black is left unable to defend. Replay this sequence to master centralization and attacking coordination. Black shifts the queen to a more active post, aiming to add pressure and possibly eyeing a tactic on the e-file. This bold repositioning attempts to coordinate with their bishop for an attack, but it does leave black vulnerable if white responds accurately. Can you find white's strongest follow-up? The bishop sweeps to the far corner, snatching the undefended rook and piercing black's defense. This not only wins a significant material advantage but also threatens a deadly back-rank attack supported by the queen. Brilliant foresight, this move is decisive and turns the game in white's favor. Black tries to generate counterplay by redirecting their knight, hopping it deeper into white's territory. The move hits white with a tactical shot, but it comes at the cost of leaving their position even more exposed. What's the most precise reply to maintain white's momentum? White calmly reinforces along the e-file, doubling rooks with perfect coordination. This fortifies white's central control, ensures protection against counter threats, and sets up the final tactical blow. Well played, this patient step keeps all the winning lines alive. Black captures with their queen, seeking material and hoping for counter threats on the e-file. However, this exchange doesn't relieve the pressure and opens another door for white to convert their advantage. Time to seal the win. What's the clinching move? With surgical precision, white recaptures using the bishop, promoting it to the b8 square and ending all hope for black. This ending demonstrates thematic piece coordination and superior calculation. Masterful. Replay to sharpen your tactical vision. Black shifts their bishop to target your g4 square, aiming to intensify kingside pressure. However, this move leaves a crucial piece vulnerable on the other side of the board. Spotting this subtle flaw is key. Can you turn the tables? You leap your knight to the prominent corner, forking the rook and threatening a devastating discovery. This creative move takes advantage of black's neglected back rank and immediately changes the momentum. Well done, this forces an important response. Black tries to create counterplay by pushing the queenside pawn, hoping to distract you away from their endangered pieces. Still, their defenses remain overstretched, giving you the chance to tighten your grip. What's your next precise move? Your knight slides to attack the bishop, keeping the pressure and threatening an even juicier fork. By forcing Black's pieces onto awkward squares, you control the pace and maintain tactical threats everywhere. Excellent calculation, keep pressing your edge. Black tries to bring their bishop to defend, but it's too late to reinforce their exposed side. Their pieces continue to be tangled and unable to coordinate, putting them at risk of losing major material. Is there a decisive shot you can play next? Your knight jumps in, capturing the last defender and trapping Black's king in an impossible position. This final move clinches the advantage by combining knight activity with powerful piece coordination. Save this puzzle and revisit the sequence to master tactical domination. Black's knight jumps back to defend key squares, trying to reinforce control in the center. However, this retreat doesn't address weaknesses around the Black king and leaves the back rank exposed. Black may be hoping the extra defense will hold off White's growing attack. Is there a way to increase the pressure here? You slide your rook up the edge, threatening a devastating check near the Black king. By invading the 7th rank, the rook not only pressures the king, but also disrupts Black's coordination and puts them on the defensive. This aggressive play sets up a dangerous tactical sequence. Black reacts by shifting their bishop over to block your rook's check, buying time and removing your immediate threat. But this defensive move leaves other parts of their position vulnerable, especially around the king and the weakened pawn structure. Can you intensify the attack? Your knight lunges forward, sacrificing itself for a breakthrough and attacking Black's rook and king. This bold move forces Black to respond and cracks open their defensive line. Sacrifices like this are powerful weapons when the opponent's king is exposed. Black accepts the knight, capturing with their king and opening the file even further. This leaves their monarch dangerously out in the open, unable to escape many threats. White's activity is about to pay off. There's a clear path to victory here. Your rook swoops in and captures the bishop with check, delivering a decisive tactical blow. Black's pieces are too scattered to save the king, and the game is won by White's aggressive coordination. This is a classic example of sacrificing for attacking. Chances watch it again to learn the power of rook invasion.